it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, September 20th. So today we do have the moon in Scorpio going void, of course, at 6:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will lock into Sagittarius energy at 10:06 a.m. Anytime we're leaving the Scorpio energy behind for the Sagittarius energy, we get a little bit of a pep in our step. We have a brand new attitude, a brand new mood, a brand new perspective, because that Sag energy acts as the torch, the light at the end of the very dark tunnel that normally happens with the moon in Scorpio. Of course, it's very deep. It's very intense. We are unearthing a lot of shadow parts within ourselves. So we really need this renewal, this revival, this rebirth of soul, of spirit, of perspective that the Sagittarius energy brings. So there are 10 different aspects here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, while still very much in Scorpio energy, going to interact with Chiron, the wounded healer, who of course is retrograde in Aries energy. This is a positive interaction, which means that there's a lot of growth. There is a lot of improvement. There is a lot of realization on what it is that we need to grow, heal, and improve. Granted, we are taking a step back to see how far it is that we've actually come, giving ourselves credit where credit is due, but it also illuminates where it is that we still have left to go. Now, let's try to focus on the positives. Let's pluck out the silver linings. Let's understand that we're a different version of ourselves than we were yesterday, last week, last month, last year, and we have to give ourselves a little bit of props for getting us to this point. The moon then going to interact with the North Node in Aries in not the nicest way. This is going to kind of bring the vibe down, if you will. Like I previously mentioned, just when we realize how far we've come, how much we've grown, how much we've healed, how much we've improved, it also illuminates how far we still have left to go to grow, improve, and heal in other arenas and other aspects of our lives. This particular realization definitely going to bring the vibe down just a tad, because instead of focusing in on all of the good and giving ourselves credit where credit is due, it's a very small, short window of opportunity that we actually have to pluck out those silver linings, because the focus becomes on what it is that we're still blocked on, what is still challenging us, what is still holding us back, what is still kind of creating a little bit of a cluster F in our lives that's really kind of getting us down, really making us feel very defeated in a lot of ways. So of course, the North Node in Aries is the path that we need to be on in order to reach our soul's mission, our soul's potential, our soul's purpose. But this particular interaction is kind of focused on the negative, focused on what it is that we still have to get rid of, what we have to let go of, what we have to release, what we have to put an end to, which is a little bit of a Debbie Downer. Now, lucky for us, shortly thereafter, the moon in Scorpio is going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Neptune, who of course is retrograde in his place of power in this Pisces energy. This is water on water action. And what we know about water is it's very cleansing, very healing, very transformative. Yes, it's emotional and intuitive in nature. However, this is a reminder, a refresher, if you will, on what it is that we're actually working towards. Reminder of what it is that we're looking to manifest, what we're looking to change, what we're looking to heal, what we're looking to improve. This is like a better situation, if you will. We're more inspired, motivated, determined to kind of take the funk, the anger, the frustration that we just realized that we had about some of the limiting situations and circumstances that we have. And instead of getting Debbie Downer about it, we are kind of tapping into a warrior spirit where we're rising to the challenge, if you will, and really kind of seeing where it is that, yes, we have to remind ourselves why we're fighting the good fight and what it is that we're actually working towards. But this kind of renews our soul, our spirit, if you will, and puts us in the right attitude, the right mood, the right demeanor to actually continue this fight and continue to make some progress on the path that is getting us away from what it is that we have already created, that we've outgrown, and closer to new uncharted territory. The moon then going to sextile with the sun. This is a beautiful interaction. The moon in Scorpio, the sun in Virgo. Scorpio and Virgo energy works very well together because Scorpio energy is very intuitive, very emotional, very empathic, not afraid to take a little bit of a dive in the dark side, if you will, and really has that detective hat on. We're able to kind of piece things together. We're able to pick up on subtle energies. We're able to kind of read between the lines. Now, the sun shining a bright light in this Virgo energy is very much showing us what we have to rearrange, what we have to fix, what we have to heal, what we have to grow. And realistically, where it is that we have to create order amongst the chaos. Now, this is a good interaction. It kind of blends the past and the future together to give us this overlap in this present moment for us to see very carefully, very closely, very detailed what it is that we're leaving behind happily and wholeheartedly in order to embrace and embody the, let's say, element of creation. Because, of course, when you're in an awkward void, such as the week that we're in as we approach this equinox energy and have the opportunity to reset the karmic scale, so to speak, there's a lot of reflection back. The retrograde planets are adding to that. But amidst of all of that, we're figuring out what we still have to kind of do in order to rearrange and create a better routine for ourselves, where healthy habits are needed, where roles and responsibilities to other people, to our relationship dynamics, to our home, to our job, we're recognizing the opportunity to boss up. But of course, we have to have the emotional dexterity, strength, determination to do so. And that is exactly what the moon in Scorpio is trying to invoke within us. The moon then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Pluto, who rules over the Scorpio energy. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn energy, giving us an opportunity to really kind of collapse and deconstruct all the systems, foundations, structures, old elements of our lives that we've outgrown that are no longer encouraging and supporting us. And because this is a beautiful interaction, it does mean that there is a shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our emotions. That's what Pluto does. Pluto illuminates where there is a transformation needed. It's very Scorpion energy. And we are in the emotional, I'm going to say, mind frame right now in order to understand where it is that we have to boss up, where we have to really kind of take the lead, take charge, if you will, to draw the line in the sand of what it is that we will not go back to. And of course, focus our time, energy, and attention on what it is that we want to build, strengthen, create from here. This is the point in time when the moon is going to go void, of course. And like I previously mentioned, we have about a 4-hour window there where the moon is void. And typically speaking, when the moon is void, things get shaky, things get uncertain. We have a lot of questions. We don't feel stable. We're kind of all over the place until we lock into that new energy at 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is the Sagittarius energy. 11:17 a.m., we have the very first aspect with the moon in Sag. Unfortunately for us, it's not the greatest aspect. It's a semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension and conflict point with Mars, the god of war, who rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, who is stuck in the weakest point that he could possibly find himself in this Libran energy, stuck in the intellectual battlefield, having to negotiate, compromise, strategically charm our way through complicated situations and circumstances in order to get what it is that we actually desire, what it is that we want. So this is bringing up a lot of issues because there's a lot of indecision that comes with that Libran energy. There comes a lot of frustration with Mars being in Libran energy because we want to take action with Mars and Mars can't. He just has to think about it. He has to plan and strategize and tap into both sides of the coin, so to speak. And the moon in Sag really just wants us to have a bigger, greater, grander vision, dream, goal, perspective on where it is that we want to go. So of course, we're having a hard time figuring out where it is that we want to go because of the Libran energy. We're indecisive. We're sitting on the fence. Part of us very, very content to stick with the same old, even though it's not supporting us or in our growth and our improvement at all, but it is safe and familiar and predictable. While many of us are leaning towards the opposite end of saying, you know what, screw that. I know what I'm going to get if I continue to do the same old, and I'm putting all my cards on the table and I'm going to take a bet. I'm going to take a risk on this uncharted territory. So this is bringing up a little bit of conflict, a little bit of aggravation, a little bit of irritability because we just don't know the path or direction that we need to be initiating at this particular point. The moon in Sagittarius is going to make a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy, which is going to give us a little bit, I'm going to say, of hope, of inspiration, of excitement, maybe, dare I say. I know that's a hot topic word here because not many of us are in the realm of feeling happy-go-lucky, let alone excited about life. But this particular interaction is just kind of renewing our faith, renewing our hopes, renewing our wishes, renewing our goals, our dreams, our visions on what it is that we could be possibly pursuing if we chose to boss up and be bold and brave and courageous enough to actually step away from what it is that we have been doing to try something different. This is going to illuminate the possibilities, if you will, and kind of get us hyped up about those possibilities. It's not going to last for very long, though. The moon is going to get into the boxing ring, fight it out with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. This doesn't feel good. This is a reality check. This is a bitch slap of truth in our face. This is a shake-up, if you will, on where it is that we got to grow up. We got to boss up. We got to stop whining. We got to stop complaining. We have to understand what it is that we have to change within ourselves, especially with our belief system goes. If we stand a chance of breaking out of this construct in which we've built to raise our vibration and frequency so that we can go out and essentially clean the slate and start over, quote unquote, as the creator energy, many of us being consumer energies, constantly feeding off of anything that's coming at us in the exterior realm, really polluting what it is that we think is possible for us. And especially if you're someone who relies on the information and details of your current circumstance and environment to dictate what is possible for you, then you're going to feel trapped. You're going to feel like your back is against a wall. We really do have to kind of renew our faith, renew our trust, not only in ourselves, but in the universe and in the process of awakening, of growing, of evolving. And this is where we're at. So there is a little bit of a peak potential there with that interaction with the North Node, but then it kind of gets suffocated by Saturn. Saturn kind of comes at us and beats us down and says, you're unrealistic and you're dreaming too big and you're never going to be able to do that. That's that negative Nancy narrative. And it really does kind of crush some of the insight, some of the hope, some of the positivity that we were trying to muster up there. Now, the moon is going to interact with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy and not the nicest way. And this is going to bring up a lot of wounds. This is going to bring up a lot of rawness, realness, vulnerability, where we're not feeling safe, secure, strong enough to actually break away and make a change that we know that we need to make if we stand a chance in hell of being able to create something better in our realms, in our reality that is really I'm going to say challenging to even think of right now because we're very much stuck in this rut. So this is going to highlight for us where it is that we're not feeling so hot about ourselves. We're not feeling so good, not feeling so positive about ourselves. We don't want to get too down on ourselves because that's a dark pit that we just don't want to have to climb our asses out of later on in the week as we approach that equinox energy. However, we have a lot to learn about ourselves when we give ourselves permission to take on that whiny, complaining type of attitude, that poor, woe is me type of perspective. We really do kind of unearth, if you will, where it is that those narratives, that belief system is no longer supporting us and definitely not contributing to the overall want, need, and desire to create something better out of the space in which many of us have had things removed out of. The last thing that we got going on here today is Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of communication, information, how it is that we express ourselves, who currently is direct, but still kind of waking up from the retrograde fog in his place of power in this Virgo energy that still has this kind of tunnel vision on examining our lives, our thoughts, our roles, our responsibilities, and trying to process what needs to stay and what needs to go. Very much focused right now on what isn't working, what is broken, what is no longer even worth our time and energy, and we have to make extra efforts in order to really come to terms, mind, body, and soul, on what it is that we need to let go of, release, provide an ending to, so that we can clean the space and clear the slate for us to begin to actually build something new. But Mercury is interacting with the North Node in Aries in such a way that is going to show us where it is that there are more negatives than there is positives. And for many of us, that is the case. What we have to do is just really pour our time, energy, and attention into those positives, into those silver linings. We have to have the attitude of gratitude, even for the smallest little bit of positivity that we got going on, because that's going to make or break the situation of us kind of breaking free from this mold, from this vibration, from this frequency, and giving us an opportunity to basically start something new. What we can learn from this is that when we focus on the bad, when we focus on the negative, when we keep kind of looping in our head, oh my goodness, I don't want to do this anymore, can't deal with this, don't want to talk about it, don't want to think about it, don't want to have this experience anymore. Well, guess what? Maybe it is time for us to do something about it. Maybe it's time to make a list of all the crap that we don't want to have in our lives anymore and actually do something to remove it from our lives. Again, this is planning, this is strategizing, this is not acting on impulse or urge. It is taking a logical, practical approach to what is consuming the most time, the most energy, the most attention, and not really building anything supportive in its place. So this is going to be an aha moment, if you will, on the blocks, on the challenges, on the negative aspects that we currently have going on in life, in hopes where we can boss up, take control, take action by at least making a list on what it is that we plan to tackle when we're gifted with the green light go ahead to start really rearranging our physical realms to mirror back to us what it is that we've already kind of decided on and arrived at in our inner realm.